Hi, welcome to my fifth vlog. Now I'm back down on the Neem Valley 20-acre lake that I've been fishing for most of the year. My last session was about 2 weeks ago where I caught that 44-pound common. Now, I can't tell you how pleased I am with that. You know, it took me long enough to catch a 40-pound common to go with the mirrors, but I got there eventually. I got here yesterday at dawn, or just before dawn, about an hour before dawn. I had a good walk around the lake, did 2 or 3 laps, and the fish just don't seem to be showing at the minute. I nearly dropped back in the swim where I had the 44 from. Which is up that top end up there, but it's been receiving a lot of pressure by all accounts over the last couple of weeks, so I'm not sure if the fish are going to stick around in them 2 bays as much as they have been in the past. So being as I couldn't find anything, I decided to drop in the middle of the lake. So you know, I've got probably 10 acres of water each side of me, up and down, and if the fish are still moving, which they might still be because the water's not as cold as it normally is at this time of year, hopefully they'll come past me. But did last night, nothing as yet. Got a violent liner about 8 o'clock this morning, but no other action. I heard a couple of fish in the night. One was right up there near where I had the 44 from. One was further down the bank here, probably about 60 yards down there. One was right at the opposite end of the lake. So I just think the fish are really spread out at the minute. So we'll just have to wait to see if something moves on to us. But in the meantime, I want to show you what bait I use in winter. Now this is my spod mix I use. As you can see, there's a few goodies in there. Well, the first thing I tend to put in is boilie. Now, spring, summer, autumn, I just use boilie, just crush it down into the spod mix. So I've got loads of broken and whole bits of boilie in there. I mean, this is the Edge from Aqua Dynamics. It's a fantastic bait, and it's an all year round bait as well. It's got 20% fish meal in it. It's got a low oil content, and I've caught well from it in winter as well as summer. So that's the first thing to go in, and that kind of makes up most of the spod mix. In winter I like to add a few other bits and pieces in there just to catch the fish's attention really, and not fill them up too much, because you know, boilies can be quite stodgy as a whole, so I don't really want to fill them up. And you know, it is important to get the right boilie. In my opinion, you don't want a high fish meal boilie, because it can be a bit stodgy, and you definitely don't want high oil, because oil can coagulate in cold water, and it can ruin a bait and can ruin a spot you put it on. I mean, the fish probably will still eat it because they don't know any better, they're just fish, but it could stodge them up, and I just don't like it. So be careful what boilies you get. Make sure you get a low fish meal content and especially low oil content. So like I say, the Edge from Aqua Dynamics is just that. So the boilie's in there. Another thing I like to use is pellet. These are breakdown pellets. Again, it's really important not to use, you know, trout pellets or anything that's particularly oily, but these will just break down and turn into ground bait on the bottom. So stick a bit of that in. Another thing I like to use is this stuff, sweet corn. Now, mainly it's just for colour. You know, the fish spend a lot of time in the upper layers, just cruising around, and something nice and yellow against a silty bottom can often catch the carp's attention, and it's dead easy for them to digest as well. It's just, well, virtually water. So that's a few of the main things I put in there. Another ingredient I like to put in is these maggots. Now I don't use it to this extent that a lot of people use it. I mean, some people will turn up with gallons and gallons of the stuff and just heap it in, but you know, you don't really want to be paying hundreds of pounds when you're not too sure. Plus, this water as well is full of silverfish, so I don't know how long the maggots are going to stay out there for, but you know, I certainly wouldn't put loads out and just fish maggots only. Even when I do fish waters like Christchurch, which really do respond in winter to large quantities of maggots, I don't like using a maggot on the hook, so I tend to use a similar mix like this anyway, but I'll probably put a few more maggots in than what I've got now. But I just think that the maggots crawling around on the bottom, even though they probably won't crawl for too long in this coldish water, especially in the depths of winter, but it's just something alive down there. And you know, anybody that's listened to anything I've written, or you know, anything I talk to camera about, knows that I like natural extracts, and I think carp pick up on the feeding triggers, and you know, the natural smells and everything that the maggots and natural foods kicking out. That's why I designed the Edge with loads of natural extracts in. So yeah, that's my spod mix, and I tend not to use as much bait in winter as I do in the warmer months. I mean, sometimes you can get away with it. Depends what everybody else is doing on your syndicate. If people are just putting singles out, then maybe you get away with a good few spawnfuls, but I just probably spot out, I don't know, 3-4 spod falls over each rod. you know, depending how cold it is, depending what I think the fish are doing. That is the finished article there. As you can see, it's bright in colour, it's enough to catch the carp's attention, plenty of movement in there, plenty of good stuff for the carp treat in the boilie and the pellet, and let's hope it does the business for me today. Well, I really thought I was going to get one last night, but it just wasn't to be. I was quite confident going into the night. It just looked good. I wasn't really seeing anything, but I just had that feeling. But never mind. I don't know what's done it. I don't know if it's the changing conditions. You know, the wind swung round from a southerly to an easterly, or just the added pressure now that it's a weekend. But never mind. I'm not complaining. I shouldn't beat myself up too much anyway. It's not really been fishing particularly well. It's done one fish in the last 2 weeks since my last session. But never mind. This will probably be my last session down here this year. You know, my next possible outing to go fishing is going to be December, and as much as I like it down here, you know, kind of December, the weather's probably going to change. It's going to get a lot cooler, and 20 acres chasing 80 fish probably isn't the best use of my time, really. So, you know, it's I'll be back on next year, no doubt, and have another crack. But I'm not complaining about how the season's gone at all. I've done 32 nights down here and had 25 fish, so it's not bad for a relatively low stock venue. You know, I've had 3 mid-30s and 2 40s, so I've certainly got amongst the bigger fish. So the next time I do a vlog, I'll probably be on a completely different water. You know, I do prefer me higher stocked, smaller lakes in the middle of winter. You know, so location isn't so much of an issue. It's quite often you only get small windows in winter where the fish will actually feed, so it's really important to be on the fish in those times. So yeah, I do like to fish somewhere a little bit different in winter to compare to my summer fishing. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting winter, because the fish I've got lined up to have a go for aren't particularly easy to catch. They can be quite tricky, so I'll be messing around with rigs and tactics quite a lot. So it should be quite interesting winter. If any of you guys want to know anything more in detail about what I've been getting up to, then check out Big Carp. I'm doing a diary piece in there. It's got more detail about all the fish I've been catching down here, plus some cracking pictures. And yeah, Big Carp's getting good again now. It's bringing back the rotary letter, so that should be very interesting. I'm writing in that, and I've already written a couple of interesting pieces. Well, I hope they're interesting anyway. Some interesting questions, should I say. Lee Jackson's writing for it, Dave Lane, Sean Leverett, and Rob Molan himself. So check out Big Carp.